Hey there, gang, and welcome back to Our Wyoming Life. Before we get started today, I wanted to let you in on an exciting update. Now, you know, for the past year or so, Erin and I have been taking Ritual multivitamins, and the reason behind it is to help us make sure that each and every day we're at our best for work, family, and of course you guys. Recently, we upped our game and added Synbiotic Plus to our routine. Synbiotic Plus is a 3-in-1 prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic, all of which are very important for gut health. One thing I learned is that probiotics help support your immune system, and 70% of your immune system is located right in the gut, so it just makes sense to take care of it. One simple pill per day, delay release to make sure it gets where it needs to go. And I promised you an exciting announcement. Well, that's because now is the time to invest in your gut. For Black Friday through Cyber Monday, Ritual is offering 40% off when you bundle with Synbiotic Plus. Get on the right track this year and let your gut thank you later. There's a link right down below in the description, and I hope you can do just like Erin and I did. It's with Ritual that we know exactly what we're taking, and Ritual is very transparent about what you're taking. No additives, no fillers, no colors. So check it out. The link is down below, and 40% off when you bundle with Synbiotic Plus is only here for a limited time from Black Friday through Cyber Monday, because it's never too late to start a new ritual. Hi, I am Mike, and first of all, we get things started today. I want to thank my friend Jared for the shirt. He sent me this shirt, and for the last 5 years, I've been starting every single video, almost every single video, with "Hi, I'm Mike, and this is Our Wyoming Life." Hi there, I'm Mike, and this is Our Wyoming Life.
My name is Mike, and this is Our Wyoming Life.
Hi there, I'm Mike, and this is Our Wyoming Life. Hi, I'm Mike, and this is Our Wyoming Life.
And Jared sent this shirt, and I said, you know, that's cool. It's a trademark, or it's a catchphrase, or whatever you want to say. But it got me thinking about how we relate to people in our lives. And YouTube is a wonderful thing. It brings people into our world that would never, ever have a chance to be there in any other circumstance. It brings me right into your guys' homes. It brings me onto your phones. It brings me into your day-to-day lives. And that is a very special and very magical thing. Unfortunately, for the last 5 years, "Hi, I'm Mike" is pretty much all that you've gotten out of me. You've seen me in videos, and pretty much everything, almost everything that people know about me has came from my interactions with them over video. Now, we've had a lot of subscribers that have stopped by the ranch, that have stopped and talked to me, that have gotten to know me personally. But that's kind of the outside rarity that most people actually get a chance to do that. And when Jared sent me this shirt, like I said, it got me thinking about those relationships. And one of the biggest relationships that we're constantly talking about on the ranch, or on YouTube, or even when we do speaking events or anything like that, is the relationship between the producer and the consumer. And I think that one of the problems that we've formed, and this is really nobody's fault, it's just the way things have worked out, is over the past few years, the producers and consumers of the world forgot who each other were. It became so easy to say, you're a consumer and I'm a producer, and that's pretty much it. We kind of left out over the years this, you know, "Hi, I'm Mike, and you're Glenn, and I would like to sell you a chicken." I think that's where the beginning of the downfall of the cooperation and the recognition between consumers and producers happened. So for the past 5 years, one of our biggest things has been to bring the producer and the consumer closer together. It's one of those hidden goals maybe that we've been trying to attain. We always say, you know, explore the ranch life, escape your ordinary, but that is one of the ways that we can bring producers and consumers closer together. Unfortunately, you can only get so close over video, and it does take actually meeting somebody, meeting a farmer, or meeting somebody who lives in Washington D.C. who buys your steak, to form that real connection. So what I wanted to do today was actually have, first of all, it's cold outside. So I wanted to be able to wear a short sleeve t-shirt, and I wanted to be able to wear this t-shirt. And I can't do that outside. So we are actually hanging out up here in our studio, and we'll probably move around a little bit in here as we make it through this video. But what I wanted to do was sit down and actually talk to you guys a little bit about who I am, where I come from, some maybe little quirks about me that you may not know, and kind of just give you a chance to decide if you really like me, or if you just like what we're doing. And there is a big difference, because we don't have to like everybody in our lives. We don't have to like every single person that's behind every single product that comes into our house. I think that a lot of people see that nowadays. It's easy to take the Steve Jobs or the Elon Musk or the Bill Gates and put them as a forefront on the businesses, the products that we consume. But still, we use them. I mean, there's no way around that. I have to have a phone. I have spent tons of money on iPhone stuff over the years, so now I'm stuck with an iPhone. I can't go and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to switch over to an Android, because I first of all, I wouldn't even know how to make a phone call on an Android. Second of all, I've spent a lot of money on apps, so they got me roped in. And that doesn't mean that I like Steve Jobs or like Steve Jobs. It doesn't mean that I like Apple. It just means that that's what I've got. And I think that this video will give a lot of people a chance to actually get to know me a little bit better and be able to maybe make that decision for themselves. I hope I don't chase anybody off here today, but you never know. So let's get started with, well, let's go back to the beginning. I was born and raised in Montana. Actually, more specifically, a section of Montana that's known as the High Line. It's Highway 2, and it runs along the north side of Montana, pretty much as close as you can get to the Canadian border without actually becoming a Canadian. And it was cold, and it was bitter, and it was what I was used to. My dad was what I always like to refer to as a professional ranch hand, although I'm sure there was no such accreditation at that time. Probably still isn't. But my dad was a ranch hand for most of my early years. By the time I was about 6 years old, he was actually out of that completely. He had a stroke right around that time and wasn't able to work. So I vaguely remember being on farms and ranches as a little kid, but not very much. I rode horses. I do remember doing that kind of stuff as a kid, but unfortunately, I wasn't raised on a ranch. But that's not a bad thing, because it gave me a unique perspective, I think. And as I grew up in high school, I loved to play basketball, and eventually I graduated from high school, joined the military, where I was in the Air Force. I was a security police officer in the Air Force, as well as having my EMT certification and working off base in that capacity. And that really kind of opened up the world for me. Growing up in Montana, I really didn't have a whole lot of real world experience until I joined the military, and I got a chance to travel a little bit and see quite a few things that I never would have been able to see in my life. So I did my 4 years in the Air Force, and I got out. And then it was a matter of, what do you do with your life? And I really didn't know. I kind of bounced around a little bit. I worked here, I worked there, I worked in a couple bars. I actually ran a karaoke thing for a little while. And I think that's what kind of got me going down the road into radio. And what happened was, basically, I do vaguely remember being at a house party with a bunch of people, probably, who knows where I met them, but I found an old record player, and I decided to start playing records. And it was just goofing off more than anything. And I was leading into the records and coming out and going back in and announcing records, just goofing off. And somebody said, you know what, you should look at doing that. You'd probably be pretty good at that. And so that's what took me down the road to getting into radio. And I worked in radio for quite a few years, and that eventually took me to Gillette, Wyoming, oddly enough. I worked in syndicated radio in Denver, and actually had a radio show that was on 208 stations across the entire United States. But at some point in my career, I realized that really wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more into local radio rather than satellite radio. So I went to Gillette. I came to Gillette, and that's where I actually became a music director of a station here, and eventually operations manager. And then left there, went to work for Northeast Broadcasting, which was based in Boston. Actually, in Gillette is where I met Erin, so we ended up together after that point. I ended up working for Northeast Broadcasting, and that's what eventually led us here to the ranch while we were working for Northeast Broadcasting. Lots of other radio stations in there, and a lot of moving and doing that kind of stuff. But that's kind of the backstory about how we end up here at the ranch. At that point, Erin's stepdad, Gilbert, had the ranch, and his health was failing, and they asked us if we would come back and give him a hand. So that's how we ended up here. And that's pretty much mostly the backstory. I mean, you guys kind of caught up after that point. We started doing farmers markets, and we did what we could to support the ranch, and eventually ended up selling our own beef and pork, starting the YouTube channel, being able to share what we do. It was local food, and working in farmers markets that really did open both Erin and I's eyes to local food and knowing where your food comes from. And that's really what took us down this road. So we started talking about, that's how I got here, honestly. And it's probably a much longer story if we sat down and really went through it. But the fact of the matter is that we are here, and I am super happy to be here, and I'm super happy to be able to share our lives with you. And part of sharing our lives is, of course, sharing ourselves. So I do have a few little things that I thought we'd talk about that are things that I haven't really shared before on the channel. The first one is people send me chocolate bars. I don't know why. I guess it's like a treat, but to tell you the truth, I don't like chocolate. I have never really had liked chocolate. I just grew up not liking it. I can't explain it. People think you're weird. They're like, you don't like chocolate? What's wrong with you? But no, I don't like chocolate. Never really have. I know somebody's going to think that that's completely insane, but it is totally true. It's really hard to tell people about yourself. I don't know, maybe it's not for some people. For me, it kind of is, to be able to just, say, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. I've just never really been that guy, but since we're here together, and the whole point of this video is to share some things with you that I appreciate and that I like. One of the things that I do like to do is actually play guitar, and that's something that I don't think I have ever really shared on the channel at all. I'm not a very good guitar player. I'm not a professional guitar player. I've been pretending to play guitar for most of my life. So to play in a band, I've actually done that. I've sang with different bands, and I've done a few shows, mostly smaller stuff, bars, that kind of thing. So I really just kind of really play guitar mostly just for myself. It's more of a therapeutic type of thing. It's easy for me to just kind of be hanging out in the studio and pick up a guitar and just start playing and forget where I am, at least for a little while. can't play too much of anything though because it's all copyrighted. So don't want to get in any trouble. I should try to dig it up. I do have a CD that I recorded, I don't even know what year, 2000, maybe 1999, maybe something like that, that has 2 original songs that I actually wrote and performed all by myself. So you could maybe someday hear those somewhere. I don't know where. I have to clean them up a little bit, I'm sure. They were recorded in front of a computer, probably a Gateway or a Dell computer running like Windows 3.1 or some ridiculous thing. So that is one of the things that I really do like to do. Another thing that I like to do is models. I've always been a big fan of intricate types of models. One of the things that I've really gotten into here lately, and I don't have any up here with me, are metal. Are they called metal earth? No. Let me go grab one. I'll be right back. Okay, I found some. This is actually one. I broke the base off of it, but this is one that I finished. They're just little tiny metal models. They are very time-consuming, intricate little pieces. In fact, because I just had a birthday, I actually got some new ones here that you can check out. So this is how they come. They're actually just flat pieces that this one eventually will turn into a DeLorean. So kind of cool. Something to pass the time. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so of course the kids got me this one for my birthday. That's Baby Yoda there from The Mandalorian. And then Mackenzie apparently wanted to drive me completely insane, and she got me this train, which is actually 5 different trains. You can see them right there, or train cars that you build and eventually have all set up. 17 inches long total, and they're little tiny things like that. So that's one of the very I guess hobbies of mine. I don't have a whole lot of hobbies just because I do end up working a lot, and that's something that I didn't really consider when I started doing this. When I first got into farming and ranching, was that how much work was really going to be involved. It is something that I love and I love doing. I get asked all the time, what's your favorite thing about ranching and what's your least favorite thing about ranching? And my favorite thing about ranching is the animals. And it's not just cows or horses or goats or whatever. It's the special ones. It's the ones like Bambi, or even the ones that you wouldn't expect to be really special. But I mean, occasionally there's a cow that really, for some reason, grabs a special place in your heart. It's the goats, it's, horses. Not every horse is going to be your favorite horse, but it's always those favorites that really do make everything that I do worth it. And I think that that's kind of an important thing, because going out and feeding the cows or caking the cows, if they're just a bunch of cows, I understand that some people would have just the connection to the cattle themselves, but for me, it is about going out and seeing Bambi or seeing Number 2 or Cracker Jack or whoever else might be out there, and we have a whole new class of cows that are coming up too, and who's going to be the special ones out of that group? I have no idea, but it's always interesting to learn that. So that's probably my favorite thing about ranching and farming. The least favorite thing kind of plays right along with that, because when you have a favorite, eventually you're going to lose your favorite. And unfortunately, at this time in my life right now, I'm going to outlive most of the cows and donkeys and goats and everything else that live here. So I'm going to have to watch them go. And that's a really hard part. And the worst part about it is a lot of times I have to help them do that. And that's not any fun at all. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So it's and we just went through this because Yoda, our rescue goat that we've had here on the ranch for about a year, a little bit over, she actually passed away just last night. So, and I had to help her shuffle loose of this mortal coil. So it definitely one of those things that weighs on you. So that would be the thing that I don't like. So what else about me that I can share with people that you may not know? When it comes to Jeff is a Mountain Dew guy. I'm not a Mountain Dew guy. I'm a Dr. Pepper guy. So when it does come to pop, which I don't drink a whole lot of pop anymore. I used to drink more pop, but really now I won't have a pop for like one a week, maybe. It depends on what we're doing. If we go out to eat or something, obviously, but. Yeah, it's almost always Dr. Pepper. If there isn't Dr. Pepper, my secondary probably go-to is Mountain Dew, but I really don't drink that much pop. I drink coffee in the morning. Occasionally I'll have a Monster or a Rockstar if I need it in the afternoon. Sometimes we'll have coffee brewed throughout the day, but most of the time it's just in the morning. So that's my get through the day drink. When it comes to music, back to the whole guitar thing, I listen to all kinds of music. I know it kind of probably surprises a lot of people, but coming from the radio side of things, and in fact, if you don't even want to look at the radio side of things, one of the companies I worked for, actually, if you think back, and everybody knows what CMT is, Country Music Television. If you think back, there was another channel that was out there that was called Great American Country, and that was actually produced by Jones Media. And back when I said that I had a syndicated radio show, that was through Jones Media. So I actually worked with Great American Country as well, and on air as a VJ or helping out behind the scenes, and. So most people would say, well, you probably just really like country, but I can tell you that I like pretty much all kinds of music. I'm a huge Green Day fan. I like Green Day a lot. Tom Petty, I could go back that far. I don't know. If it strikes me, Billy Joel. If it's music that invokes a feeling, that's what I like. Some music doesn't do that, and some country music doesn't do that either. So it's not all about the genre of music you like, but sometimes it's just the feeling you get from it. All right, we're getting ready to wrap things up. So we have a quick blast of 5 questions that have been emailed to me that I'm going to attempt to answer really, really quick here as we wrap things up. Number 1, what song was the first dance at your wedding? I actually asked Erin this question the other day. Neither one of us could remember what it was. What song would make the best theme music for you? Oh, wow, I should have thought about these in advance. A theme song for me would be... pass. Okay. What's the most irrational superstition that you have? I've never really been a superstitious person, but I would probably say I will not walk underneath a ladder. I can break glass or break mirrors. I can do all that kind of stuff. Some reason, if somebody's got a ladder, I'll walk around that ladder. I'm not walking underneath it. What's the weirdest food combination you enjoy? I would have to say probably hot pepper jam and Doritos. If you've ever tried it, it's really good. And the stupidest thing you've ever done on a dare. I don't know if anybody remembers what a Chinese fire drill was, but it used to be when you would stop in traffic, everybody would jump out of the car, you'd run around the car and jump back into the car. I did it in downtown Seattle and came this close to getting arrested. So that was it. And back to what would be the best theme song for me? Well, I think you've all heard it. It's right here on Our Wyoming Life. So guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me. I really do hope that some of this kind of gives you more of an in-depth look at myself, my personality, who I am, and hopefully it entices you to follow along with us as we get out and we try to get some work done. We're heading into the holidays, so things are a little bit slow around here, but we're definitely going to get out and work some cattle, and we've got steers to deal with, we've got feeding, we've got goats, we've got donkeys that are supposed to be having babies anytime now, and we've got a lot more still coming up from the ranch. So I hope that you are able to hang out with us. Be sure to subscribe, follow along as we explore the ranch life and we escape the ordinary, and we hope even get to know each other better. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Really do appreciate it. And I'll see you next time right here on Our Wyoming Life. Whew. Well, that was interesting. Who am I talking to?